Welcome to Retire Smart Austin. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Phil Capriotti Sr. of Empower Wealth and Tax. And to our viewers at home, you may be asking yourself, what exactly is a fixed indexed annuity? And does it fit into my retirement plan? And better still, can I create my own personal pension? Well, if you're thinking about that, today's show is just for you. Phil, how are you today?
I am absolutely wonderful, and it's a pleasure to be here with you, Cynthia.
Phil, I'm so excited to be with you. Every single week, I always look forward to the topics that we talk about because they're fresh, they're interesting, they're informative. The viewers at home respond so well. You're getting a ton of those QR clicky codes, right?
We are. A lot of you folks are coming in, and I mean, we're loving it. We actually absolutely are. You know, this is our way, really, of giving back to the community. We meet a lot of very, very nice people who actually work with wonderful advisors, and we see the opposite as well.
Sure.
But most of all, the opportunity to do the pro bono work, to meet with them, to review the portfolio, run the Morningstar report, to run their Social Security maximization report, to do a retirement income plan and update it. We give them the schematic to help them understand how to structure a successful retirement plan. And I'm really enjoying it because this is my way, it's our way of giving back to the community without asking for any compensation or remuneration of any sort. And I guess just in my heart of hearts, and yours as well, just to help people along. So
Yes.
Just on that note, we don't expect anything in return. All of you, if you've been watching us for years or just started watching us, to not pick up the phone if you're within 5 years of retirement or in retirement and dial the 888-818-6557 number, I believe is a serious mistake. The topics that we cover are topics that are brought up in our office.
Yes.
So these questions that come to in our office, when clients come in and they have questions or they're calling questions, we like to address them. And this is the best way to do it. And this is a great topic, by the way.
I love this topic, and I have to stop you right there because today is a very special episode. I don't know how long you've been watching us, if you've watched all of these, but this is episode 175. Phil.
Wow.
175. You've been giving so much quality information to all the viewers at home. Happy 175th.
Wow, that's fantastic. You know, when we started this over 4 years ago, we thought we'd do it for about 6 months, 12 months, and you know, that would be it. And man, it's taken on a life of its own. We're now on 2 TV networks on Sunday. We're on NBC at 10:30 to 11. You know, if you're at church and for the morning, and then we're on Fox from 9 to 9:30. And then we have 2-hour radio shows. We have one on Saturday, KLBJ comes on 7 to 8. And then we have one on Sunday that comes on 7 p.m. It's another hour show. And then we have 2-hour shows on The Bridge, which is Christian Talk Radio. So we're having a lot of fun. We really are. We're really having a lot of fun. We're getting a lot of folks call in. A lot of folks we're educating. This topic is extremely important.
Yes.
And it's kind of a piggyback off of the topic we did a couple weeks ago about variable annuities.
Yes.
By now, you probably figured I'm not a big fan of variable annuities. Okay, I don't like to discriminate, but I believe that they benefit the companies and the agents that sell them more so than the clients, since there are fixed index annuities available as a replacement, okay? So let's start out with that. What is a fixed indexed annuity?
Yes.
Some folks are concerned of market volatility. They are concerned that if they put their money in the market, they can lose. And I understand that. I get it. So a fixed indexed annuity is just what it sounds like. It's an insurance product, an annuity, and it offers a fixed rate of return or a return tied to an index like the S&P 500, NASDAQ, so forth and so on. There are a lot of different indexes that we use. What these do is they protect you against market losses in downtimes, and they give you about 90% or so of the market's uptime. All of these products are different.
Okay.
Number one, this show is coming with a warning. never, ever buy a fixed indexed annuity over the TV or over the internet, okay? That includes us, ever. Always buy an annuity from someone who's a licensed fiduciary that's allowed to sell investment products and insurance products because they are legally obligated to choose the best annuities. Now, why do I say that? Folks, there's over 2,000 different fixed index annuities just in the state of Texas.
Wow. In the state of Texas alone.
That's it, about different products. Many companies have 8, 10, 12 different types of fixed indexed annuities. Many insurance agents sell the products that offer the highest commission. I'm not a fan of that. The idea is to be able to offer these products based on needs, whether a client needs. So let's go ahead and talk about the benefits, right?
Okay.
So the first thing is principal protection. Fixed indexed annuities provide you protection against any market loss. The worst that can happen in any given year is you lose zero. If the S&P, let's say we're using that index, drops 20%, that year you make zero. They reset the index on the anniversary date for the lower amount, 20% less. And then the following year, if the S&P goes up 10, 15%, you'll get a percentage of that. We like to choose indexes that give us at least 80, 90, or 100% of the upside. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, the returns are potentially higher. A good, solid fixed indexed annuity. And by the way, FYI, there's really only 2 handfuls of companies, of products that I even offer our clients. And the reason is many of these things are loaded with a lot of sizzle, no steak, so to speak. They have a lot of benefits and features that have cap spreads and things of that nature, which we're going to get into. So I like fixed index annuities that have no cap. They have no spread, and they give me at least 80 to 90% participation in the gain of the index. I also like fixed indexed annuities that have a high watermark lock-in, meaning I don't have to wait for the anniversary date to collect my return.
Wow.
If my index is up 17, 18%, and I can lock that in, I don't want to have to wait to the anniversary date 3 or 4 months later.
Agreed.
If the client says 17, when we call a client and say, hey, your index is up 17.5%, do you want to lock it in? If I'm getting 17% from a fixed index annuity, I'm locking that in all day long.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because many times, if you get greedy, what normally happens is you can see quick drops in the market, and that 17% could drop to 15, 12, and so forth. So most of the products, 95+%, don't allow you to lock in. You have to wait for the anniversary date.
Wow.
Check that off of my list. I can't sell that type of product.
Okay.
The other thing, for some annuities, if you're not looking for income, you're just looking for safe tax-deferred growth, folks will park money into these things. They want to get a 6, 7, 8% return. That's what they want. They don't want any fees, like we talked about with variable annuities, but they don't want to pay taxes at the end of the year. So with a fixed indexed annuity, you get the tax deferral section, meaning all of those gains are not taxed until you take a withdrawal.
Wow.
So we can also use these as a vehicle while we're executing Roth conversions, because many times these taxable accounts, we may be receiving dividends and interest of 40, 50, 60, 100,000 a year, which adds to the income if it's not in a deferred plan. Most folks also like, and I like them as well, guaranteed interest. They have guarantees in them. I have to have a guarantee. All right. And for most folks that are very conservative or ultra conservative, these things are great. Now, for the most part, we like to use them for private pensions, for folks who are forced to put all of their money into a 401k. Their company gave them matching, Cynthia, but didn't give them a pension to go with it.
Wow.
So with that, we may want to take, just to give you an example, let's assume you have $1 million, 1.5. It doesn't matter. It could be $500,000. We normally like to look at, okay, how much are we getting from Social Security for husband? How much for wife? Now I want to have tax-free retirement plan. So I want to be able to, let's say, put 500,000 of that into a fixed indexed annuity as an IRA. Are we running out of time?
We're a little tight, but please
all right,
finish.
let me finish and we'll come back. I want to be able to do internal conversions in that product. I want to be able to convert it to a tax-free Roth in segments, little at a time. And then at the end of that time, whether it's a 3-year conversion or a 4 or 5 year, now turn on tax-free income, and we'll get to the rest of it when we come back.
I love that you said tax-free income. Yay!
Tax-free income.
To the viewers at home, there's a number to call on your screen, 888-818-6557. If you're in the viewing audience today and you're asking yourself, should I have a fixed index annuity in my retirement plan? Do I want to create my own personal pension? If the answer is yes, call in today. 888-818-6557. If you don't have a pen handy, that's okay. Just grab your smartphone. You can click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to Empower Wealth and Tax landing page, and you can claim your spot accordingly. We're going to take a very short commercial break here on Retire Smart Austin. When we come back, we're going to talk about some tax-free income. Stay tuned.
One of the secondary reasons I got into the tax business is my very first job. It was an usher at a movie theater. So back in my day, since I'm a baby boomer, people would come, we would tear their ticket, and we would walk them down, seat them, and then come back. So up until that point, I was getting $5 a week for allowance, and I'm telling you, I was like an indentured servant. My brother was allergic to grass and pollen, so I had to do all the lawn work. I had to do all of the work, as a matter of fact. So I get my first check. I get 37 and a half hours. I'm making $2.10 an hour. This check's going to be close to $80. I look at the check and I get sticker shock. $41.78. I'm good at math. That's not adding up. So I go over to the manager. He says, oh, Phil, he says, flip the check around. Federal income tax, state income tax, FICA tax, all of these different taxes. So that was my first lesson at 15 about how important paying taxes are. And by the way, I think that anyone that has paid taxes every year for 50 years, by the time they're 75, they should be tax-free. I don't care where they put their money. That's my belief. I believe we've done our fair share.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Austin. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Phil Capriotti Sr. of Empower Wealth and Tax, and we're talking all about fixed index annuities and how they will go into your retirement plan. Again, this is episode 175. Thank you for being with us today. Phil, I love today's topic. Obviously, something that you ended with there had everyone's attention. Creating tax-free income.
So these are just some of the benefits and features we need to see inside of these products. Now, one of the other things that has to be in a product before I'll offer it to a client, in addition to doing internal Roth conversions, many of these fixed indexed annuities have long-term care and home health care riders.
Wow, okay.
So many of these companies will actually double your income. Now, if I convert it to a Roth, if we put $500,000 into an annuity and I turn that income on in 5 years and it's churning out $55,000-$60,000 in tax-free income.
Wow.
Okay, I need to be able to have increases in that income to adjust for inflation. So 2 riders that I must have in the fixed index annuity. And this is why you only want to talk to a licensed fiduciary like us.
Right.
We're very experienced in this. So if you do not have a pension and want to set up a pension, or you have a pension with a cash out option and you do not want that pension to spin out taxable income, you want tax-free, well, you might want to consider one of these products. Many times, folks will not have the health to qualify for traditional long-term care coverage, but they do have significant wealth, and they are financially responsible for covering long-term care or home health care. And many of you folks who are helping parents right now, and you know who I'm talking about because I'm one of them, and so is my wife, to be honest with you, you need to have that help, that long-term care, and at least home health care. If you can't perform 2 out of 6 ADLs, daily living activities.
Yes.
These things also have riders, so I need to be able to adjust that income automatically from that, say, $100,000 block. It has to include the opportunity to increase with inflation.
Okay.
So fixed indexed annuities, the ones that we offer that you have to be a licensed fiduciary to sell, have this. So once I convert it to a Roth, if I'm getting a 3%, 5%, 6, 7% increase each year, based on what the indexed returned inside of the product, and that's how it's based, and it has a multiplier inside that maybe doubles the income if I can't perform 2 out of 6 daily living activities, and I may not have the health to qualify for long-term care, this is a great product to have.
It really is.
And you're establishing your own tax-free pension. It also has to have 100% spousal benefits.
Wow.
When I turn on this income, if it's my 401k, if I predecease my spouse, I need my spouse to be able to collect the same level of income with the same benefits for long-term care and home health care, with the same index increases for inflation. And one of the benefits with these annuities is once the account runs out of money, which normally happens within a 12 to 13 year period from turning it on, that's the way the actuary set it up, it needs to provide you income up to age 120 years old. And that's one of the benefits of annuities. When you run out of money, you don't run out of income.
Wow. What
and that's
benefit.
huge.
It is.
Because we can use a piece of that 401k, use it to convert to a Roth, turn on tax-free income, and then be a little more aggressive with the other investments. Why? We have their mailbox money set.
You have the security, absolutely.
We have the Social Security. We set up their own pension. If they're married and they're both professionals, we may set up 2 pensions. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. Because people always talk about their number one fear is running out of money. By using such a vehicle as this, the fixed indexed annuity, creating your own personal pension, tax-free income, Phil, it's beautiful.
It is. And here's one of the disadvantages. I don't want to give you all of the fluff here. The disadvantages are fixed indexed annuities are very complex.
Okay.
And this is why you really don't want to purchase them from an insurance-only agent, okay?
Right.
Really don't. And most of the better companies won't even let them selling. Many times they have a lot of different features, but they're all sizzle, no steak. And what I mean by that, they may be burdened with caps. For instance, let me explain what a cap is. Let's say we're using the S&P index and the S&P grows 10% in 1 year. Many of these products, especially the older products, will only allow you earn a cap of 3%. So if the S&P does 10, I make 3. Well, that's barely keeping pace with inflation.
Right.
X that product out. I'm not using it for my client. Many other products have what they call spreads. And what a spread is, folks, is that's how much they take off the top of the growth of the index before you get your money. So let's assume we use the same S&P index. Let's assume the spread is 5%. Well, the S&P index, if it grows 6%, the company keeps the first 5, I get 1.
Wow.
So I don't want any spreads in any of these index. I want no cap, unlimited cap. I want no spread, unlimited spread. And this is what you have to watch out for. Now, a lot of companies will come through and they'll say, no problem. We have no caps and we have no spreads. But they have another moving part called participation rates. Now, what that is, Cynthia, is that's the amount of that's the amount of growth that you can participate in that specific index that you're using. In other words, let me simplify it.
Okay.
Let's say again we're using the S&P index, and I have a participation rate of 40%. If the S&P grows 10, I get 4. If the S&P goes 20, I get 8. It has a participation rate. We like to use participation rates of 80%, 90%, 100%.
Okay.
I don't want any of the risk, but I also want the larger part of the game.
Of course, that makes sense.
So this is why you don't buy these things off the internet, folks. This is why you dial 888-818-6557 or click the QR code. come on in, and if you don't have a pension, or if you have an annuity, and I don't care whether you bought it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 10 days ago, come on in, let us run a comparison analysis on the product to make sure your fixed indexed annuity was sold to you with your best interest in mind.
Phil, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is on your screen. 888-818-6557. If you are in the viewing audience today and you're questioning, do I have a fixed index annuity? Do I need one? This is the perfect opportunity for you to find out if this will be a supplement to your retirement plan. Again, that number is 888-818-6557. Or if you don't have a pen handy, we've made it even simpler. Just grab your smartphone, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to the landing page for Empower Wealth and Tax, and you can claim your time with Phil and his team accordingly. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We have so much more about fixed indexed annuities when we return.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Austin.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Austin. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Phil Capriotti Sr. of Empower Wealth and Tax, and we're talking all about fixed indexed annuities. Are they the right product for you? Do they fit it within your plan? And can you create your own personal pension? Phil, a great show we're having today. Another very important topic for people to be able to understand the benefits and sometimes disadvantages of fixed indexed annuities.
You know, I don't like to see the demonization of any particular person, place, or thing, to be honest with you. Everything has its benefits and it has its disadvantages. Folks that say don't ever own an annuity, they're actually one-dimensional. That tells me that they're really not a complete advisor. Maybe their company doesn't allow them to sell annuities. One of the big box retailers we have in Horseshoe Bay and all around Austin, their companies won't allow them to sell indexed annuities. And I'm thinking, how can you have your client's best interest if you don't allow them to sell the absolute best product? Many folks are retiring without a pension.
Yes.
We can use these vehicles, if you choose the right one, to guarantee income. So let's talk about some of the other disadvantages. One of the other, surrender charges.
Yes.
Now, in Texas, we are called a 10-10-10 state, which mean if, God forbid, you pass away, all of your money is available to the beneficiary without any surrender charges. All of them disappear.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it's the day after you buy the annuity. Number two, you must be allowed to take at least 10% of what you put into the annuity each year. It's called a 10% free withdrawal. And all of these annuities in Texas have to have them.
Okay.
Okay. So the other thing is it has to have no more than a 10-year surrender period. Meaning I could take 10% each and every year out without any penalty. But after 10 years, I could take it all out if I want without any penalty. And how these surrender charges normally work, folks, is the first year, it might be 9% after your first year. And then after your second percent, anything in excess of 10%, it goes down to 8, 7, 6, until it evaporates after 10 years. The other thing is advisory fees. These annuities, I have annuities. I have folks coming in that had purchased annuities, bought annuities like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. They're making 2%, that's the cap on their annuity, and they're being charged 1% for a rider fee. These people are making 1% and they simply don't know how to get out of them. If you purchased an annuity during a low interest rate environment, folks, meaning the 10-year Treasury was at 2.2%, these returns on these types of products are very short-sighted and very limited. The best time to buy or enter into these contracts are during the current period, where 10-year Treasuries are up over 4.2. The mechanics behind them, the insurance company doesn't care if the market goes up, down, or sideways. They don't care. They're going to take a percentage of that 10-year Treasury yield, okay, or bond, and they're going to keep that to pay us and also to pay their employees.
Okay.
Also, a portion will go in what they call the general fund for investments, but they must keep 87.5% of the value of that annuity or what we paid into it in guarantees. So if every person cashes out their annuity in the entire state of, let's say, Texas, they have the liquidity to do it.
Wow.
Banks, I understand, only have 11% on hand if there's a run on the bank. So these things are very well insured.
Yes.
But it's important, again, to know all of the benefits and features of the annuity as well as the disadvantages. The only reason you own an annuity is because it's part of your retirement plan and it was sold to you not as a commission product, but actually as part of your retirement plan, primarily pension or tax deferral.
Wow. So again, it's so crucial and critical that people come in to speak with you about a fixed index annuity. You mentioned at the beginning of the show, never buy one of these online, never buy one of these by calling into a phone number. This needs to be discussed to make sure that this is the right product for that person.
And always talk to a licensed fiduciary that can sell investment products and insurance products, because they are obligated to offer these products and act in your best interest 100% of the time, or they are financially obligated and culpable.
Wow. Phil, thank you so very much for such an amazing, informative show. To the viewers at home, thank you for spending our 175th episode together. That number to call is 888-818-6557. And if you have questions about if it's a fixed index annuity right for me, this is the perfect opportunity for you to call in, 888-818-6557, or click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on Retire Smart Austin. Thank you for watching.